Hi, I'm Darren Walker. Tonight on Inside Louisiana Baseball, I sit down with head coach Tony Robichaux to preview the week ahead in Ragin Cajuns baseball. Later, we're joined by athletic director Brian Maggard and hop on a flight to Atlanta to meet with UL alumni. But first, Coach Robichaux joins me to discuss the weekend series with Texas State. You're watching Inside Louisiana Baseball. Hello and welcome to Inside Louisiana Baseball. Darren Walker joined once again by the head coach Tony Robichaux. Coach, before we get to recapping what happened last week, I want to start in Ruston. Last week, Louisiana Tech hit by a tornado. Their baseball and softball facilities hit pretty good, got some extensive damage. And I know you guys had reached out to them and had some nice things to say to them.
Well, again, we just wanted to pray for them as a team, let them know that we were praying for them. And, anytime anybody's hit, not just a baseball program, but it does connect us to them because, they're head coaches, their coach is a personal friend of ours, and their players know our players, and our players know them. And so it's a close thing. Even though you get after each other on the field, the bottom line is you hate for anybody to have to go through anything like that. So we just really wanted to send, our prayers out to not only for the baseball team, their program, their facility, but also the dormitories, the other areas that were in there where the regular students were in too, to hope just to make sure that they knew that we were praying for them.
Right, it kind of puts things in a little bit of perspective, doesn't it?
It does, especially when you run into, the weather that we have in this area at this time of the year when a thunderstorm can roll through like that and all of a sudden spin off a tornado on you, and there's not much planning you can do with a tornado. Thank God for the team. They were sleeping in Lake Charles that weekend to play a 3-game series at McNeese, so they weren't there. But you've got to come back to the aftermath and handle up on all of that.
Right. So let's get to recapping what happened last week. Your last midweek game of the season at Southern Miss. Another heartbreaker in the bottom of the ninth this time. The hitting was there. The defense was there. You guys turned several double plays in that game, and the pitching was really good through 8. But in the ninth inning, it started with a hit batter and then a walk, and then you got to the real heart of their lineup, and that's when they did their damage.
Yeah, I mean that's really kind of a microcosm of what's cost us, all year. Is we can play 7 innings, 8 innings, but sometimes we don't play 9 innings. Mm-hmm. And in this business, you got to play 9. And we really played a complete game in the middle of the week. All the arms that came in, did their jobs, and then we got to the end. Shows was throwing really good, threw a good 8th inning for us, went out in the 9th, and like you said, we hit a batter and we walk a batter, and so now you give them 2 free bases, and they got on base without swinging the bat, and that just can't happen. I got no problem with them getting 2 base hits. I mean, attack the strike zone. You got a 70% chance to win because hitters fail 70% of the time, and yet you let 2 guys get on base without swinging the bat. And that's been the big thing that's hurt us all year. Now your defense has a hard time helping you. I mean, you got 8 guys out there with you or 7 with you, and just put the ball in play, make them put the ball in play, and then like you said, it turned over their lineup. And when you turn over somebody's lineup, especially a team like them, they're in first place in their conference, and they're at home, and you give them some hope now. And when somebody gets hope, the momentum changes, and when the momentum changes in a game, that's another thing that's hurt us this year. We just can't spend the momentum back when it changes. Through the years, we've had some guys that come out of the bullpen and they kind of put the fire out. We have a tendency to breathe some life into the fire, and then by the time you get out of there, you've given up a 3-run inning or more, and when you do that, you're not going to be successful.
Right. So let's go to Texas State now. Game 1, let's go right to the 5th inning, one of the longest I've ever seen. I'm sure you've been a part of a few of those over your years, but the Bobcats put up 9 in the 5th inning to take a 10-0 lead. But in the bottom of the 5th, you start chipping away, and you keep chipping away and cut that lead down to 1 late in the game. So a lot of credit to the guys for not giving up, not laying down, because let's face it, the way things have been going lately, you might have seen that happen.
Well, when you get in baseball's a unique sport because you lose a third of your games. No matter how good you are, the first place team is going to lose a third of its game. The team that wins the Major League Baseball World Series is going to have 60 losses. So think about that. They're the world's best at what they do, but they went to bed 60 nights a loser. This is a tough business because you spend a lot of time losing because you're going to lose a third of your games. The hitters fail a lot because they're failing 70% of the time. So you have to really handle the mental side in baseball. It becomes a very, very tough, mentally grinding sport. And yeah, the stress load can wear you down, especially if you get caught with injuries or if you get caught with anything else that's leading to more losses than you normally would get in your 1/3. It's a stressful situation, and that's where teams sometimes can break. And so I give our hitters credit. The hitters didn't hit early, stressed the pitching staff out, who was pitching good, and then in return now the hitters are swinging the bat really good in the second half, but we're stressing them out with the pitching staff. And so, but you've got to stay after it. The hitters did a great job of fighting back and got there. But one of the things that's hurt us all year with our hitters is that as soon as we get close, we can't get that next hit. I mean, you look at a microcosm of my season, Friday night against Texas, Saturday against Texas, we could have walked them both off with one hit, but we failed to get that hit. Our batting average, if you look at teams that are really good, the teams that are in first place, they're pitching well, and their batting average with runners in scoring position with 2 outs is really good. Our batting average with 2 outs with runners in scoring position is not that good. And then our ERA is too high. It's almost 5 innings 1 through 6 and over 5 after the 7th. Well, that's going to put you in some unique situations. And so the only thing we can do right now is not quit, because the only one guarantee you have in not being able to get to your tournament or not being able to win your tournament is by quitting. So I thought the hitters did a good job right there. We let the game again spin out of control with 1 out in the 9th. We fight back, we get close, we got the momentum changed, but then we walk the leadoff hitter in the 9th. And again, you got to make people swing the bat.
A much different story in Game 2. You got a much better effort on the mound from Jack Burke and Austin Perrin, but both staffs really pitched well in that game. Unfortunately, you could only scratch 2, and they wound up winning that one 3-2.
Well, that's our consistency, right? I mean, all year that's been us. Is that we pitch, but we don't hit. We hit, we don't pitch, and so it's a tough thing to deal with. And if you get caught in a game like that, notice we only walked 1 batter that night. Well, guess what the score did? I mean, it came down, and you stay away from the 3-run inning that way because there's only one way to give up a 3-run inning. I mean, you have to give up walks or hit batters, wild pitches, errors, throw into a wrong bag as an outfielder. That allows free bases. And when you allow free bases, it takes less hits to score runs. So if you look at even Sunday, we out-hit them bad, but they got more runs than we do. And that's because we've walked so many people. Every time they get a hit, they score. And every time we get a hit, we're just reaching base. And again, that's been the biggest difference maker for us down the stretch, is just too many walks.
So let's really quickly get to Game 3, because you already touched on this a little bit about getting close but not being able to get over the hump. You were down 5-0, cut it to 1. You were down by 5 again, cut it to 1 again. But as you mentioned earlier, you just couldn't get over that hump.
No, and 2 or 3 times we ended up again with 2 outs, bases loaded, a chance to do damage and get on the other side of it.
Right.
But we don't get the hit because, again, our batting average is very poor with 2 outs. And so those are the things that those are markers that make good teams, and they're markers that make average teams. And those markers have really hit us hard this year with all the injuries we've had, losing all the experienced pitching. You can see the inexperienced pitchers, they walk a lot of people. If you look at Jack his freshman year, Burke, he walked a ton of people. We had to redshirt him and really put him back in the bullpen and really get him back in the strike zone. But then the other night, he can throw now without walking but 1 batter. And that's experience, and that the trouble with experience is time. And today, because every game's an RPI game, you don't have time. And so that's another stress load on the young arms. They need some older arms to protect them. And with Gunner out, Bradford, who's an older arm that blew his UCL out that could be closing for us in the back end of a game, it puts more and more stress onto the young players. And you look back to Saturday's game, right? I mean, we've got the walks out of it. We got where we want to do. Now, their guy's a dude, too, that day. He's throwing. He's good. He doesn't walk anybody. But they get a guy at second. We have a pass ball or wild pitch, and then we have a balk. So there's the difference in the ball game right there. And so that's been our thing all year, is trying to hang on to something that can be consistent. But the only thing we've been consistent at is being inconsistent. And when you do that, you have a lot of ups and downs, and this game's going to already bring you a lot of up and down. You look at Boston, they started out of the gate, the world champions, I think like 2-8, and so baseball's a tough sport, and the only thing you can do is try to be mentally tough enough and try to grind through these tough situations.
Coach Robe will be back with us later on to preview the upcoming week. But first, Dr. Brian Maggard updates us on the state of Ragin Cajuns athletics.
Intact! Together! Discipline! Time! Intact! Together! Discipline! Time! Intact! Together! Discipline! Time! Intact! Together! Discipline! Time! Intact! Together!
Hello, Cajun Nation. This is Brian Maggard, Director of Athletics for your Louisiana Ragin Cajuns. As we enter the month of May, we enter a very exciting time where our spring sport programs have been excelling, particularly in the sport of softball. We currently have the 8th ranked softball program in America. Coach Glasgow, staff, and team have done an excellent job in only their second year of not only clinching the regular season Sun Belt Conference championships, but certainly as we move forward to the Sun Belt tournament, we look forward to another successful tournament season with softball, and as we look to go to regional play. And Coach Robichaux and our baseball program picked up their 3rd victory over the LSU Tigers in the last 13 months. Our thoughts and prayers certainly go out to the Louisiana Tech University, as we know that community of Ruston was hit by a tornado, and we know that the campus was hit, and certainly that community will remain in our thoughts and prayers as they continue to rebuild some of the damage done by that devastating storm. Moving ahead, we have a lot of activities coming up, particularly from an outreach standpoint. This Saturday, we will be going to Atlanta to attend the UL Atlanta Alumni Crawfish Boil. Myself, Coach Napier, and others will make a presentation up there and start re-engaging and connecting with the Atlanta alumni base, and very much look forward to that. As we get into the month of May, we will have outreach trips over to Dallas and to Houston, and then we will end up later in June up in Opelousas, where we will do a coach's caravan at Evangeline Downs, where surely will be a good time for everybody as we partake in some horse racing, but also be able to connect with many of our alumni up in that region. We will continue in the month of May with our 2nd RCAF Town Hall that should be slated for May 9th. And again, that will be an opportunity for our investors to come together and ask any questions and hear more about the new investment model that we have rolled out already. The RCAF staff have been working very hard and diligently in ensuring that that transition of a new model is going very smoothly. And sooner than later, you will be receiving parking pass renewals for the football season. and we just again look forward to providing a high quality service and experience for our investors as we move forward there. But certainly on May 9th is an opportunity for everybody to come out to the town hall and to learn more about this new investment model and ask any questions that they may have. Football season ticket sales continue to move forward. I've been very excited and pleased with the renewal rate that's gone on so far. But as you now know, season ticket sales for the general public are now underway, and we'll then certainly be allocating more and more ticket opportunities moving forward over the summer. Really need Cajun Nation to give us a strong push this year with football season ticket sales. We need to pack Cajun Field for Coach Napier's second year. It certainly should be a very exciting opportunity for our fan base to see what that program is all about, and we certainly are very excited about what we think lies ahead. On August 31st, we open up the football season in New Orleans, as you may know, and so we are encouraging our fans to sign up for and get ready to request those single game sales over in New Orleans. Again, another great opportunity to watch the Cajuns in the Superdome, and that game will serve as our 7th game in the state of Louisiana, and that is in addition to the 6 home games at Cajun Field this upcoming year. You'll see a lot of activity coming from us from a social media standpoint as our numbers continue to grow and escalate nationwide. We're very proud of all the efforts from our broadcast operations and digital communications areas as we continue to grow the brand, not just statewide, regionally, but also nationally. You can catch many of our coaches' shows on CST, another great format for us to continue to grow and expand our brand and to continue to promote our various sport programs throughout not only the state of Louisiana, but nationwide. Any strong organization needs to put an emphasis and focus on morale and the team approach, and we've been very blessed at University of Louisiana to be a part of a culture that certainly supports such endeavors through the gathering of our staff and through food. Recently we had a fish fry where we were the recipients of more than 80 pounds of catfish, and that allowed our staff to come together and to just have a great time of camaraderie in a very relaxed atmosphere and enjoy some great quality Southern Louisiana food. As we continue to move forward, it's always going to be a priority of ours within the UL Athletics Department to ensure that we have an atmosphere that really promotes a family feeling and one that will allow all of our staff members to thrive. We have a great product to promote and to sell, and certainly I am so pleased as the athletics director to have a staff that takes great pride in not only the product that we have in place, but this entire institution. Not only does the month of May bring the culmination of the spring semester, but it also begins a new chapter for many of our student athletes through the graduation experience. We're so excited for, happy about, and really looking forward to many of our student athletes walking across that stage to receive their degree from the University of Louisiana. We know that the athletic experience provides many of our youngsters the only opportunity to receive that college education, and we could not be more happy for our student athletes and their families who will experience graduation this upcoming May. We want to wish all of our graduates a very successful future and want them to know that they are always welcome back to their home, the University of Louisiana.
Coming up next, the Ragin Cajuns touch down in Atlanta to meet Louisiana alumni.
If you're happy and you know it's Zydeco. If you're happy and you know it's Zydeco. If you're happy and you know it, then your feet will surely show it. If you're happy and you know it's Zydeco. If you're happy and you know it, Mange. If you're happy and you know it, Mange. If you're happy and you know it, I think I will help you show it. If you're happy and you know it, Mange.
Welcome back. Time now to hop on a flight with the Ragin Cajuns as they meet Louisiana alumni in Atlanta.
Well, this morning we're getting ready to head up to Atlanta, Georgia to meet with a very strong alumni base that the University of Louisiana has in that state. We're expecting a crowd of somewhere between 100 and 150 individuals who are going to get a chance to hear from Coach Napier, myself, and some others, and I know they're very excited about the coaching part of that for sure, but we know that this is a really important piece for us to take in as we want to continue to cultivate that alumni base, get them even more engaged in what they already are, both with the university and the athletic department, and this opportunity will allow us to continue to foster relationships that will allow our program to grow.
Well, today's a great day. Get a chance to go back to the home state. You know, anytime you're kind of 2 hours away from your hometown, it's a special opportunity. Certainly to get together with a bunch of Ragin Cajuns in Atlanta, Georgia is a special opportunity. It's something I think we need to take advantage of. You know, a direct flight from Atlanta to Lafayette's a big deal, and being able to get back and forth. Certainly to connect with these people. Two Sun Belt Conference teams, Georgia State and Georgia Southern, right there in the state of Georgia. So it's an area where we need to be competitive. We need to recruit students. We need to recruit football players. We need to stay in contact with our alumni. So I'm excited about getting together with these people today.
This is our 32nd annual Atlanta Ragin Cajun Club Alumni Crawfish Boil. We pick a great spot. We like to go right into the heart of the city of Atlanta, so all of our alums can come in from all the different counties. We even have alums who come in as far as some of them come from Birmingham and also Chattanooga. We try to expand our reach for folks who can drive in within a 2-hour radius, so we're always happy every year to have our Alabama and Tennessee alumni also join us here with our Georgia folks. But this event is super special to us because it's probably, most of us, our only time during the year that we can get some homemade food, crawfish and jambalaya, and it's all cooked on the spot. We have an amazing caterer who actually grew up in Baton Rouge. Our crawfish are driven in from home in Louisiana, cooked here on the spot.
It's great to get out to Atlanta. You know, it's just, you know, one of the biggest cities in America, so it's awesome to go meet Cajuns fans, you know, big Ragin Cajun alumni base out there. So again, when we get to go out and meet those folks, it's a great opportunity for them, and it's a great opportunity for us to show our face there and let them know that, you know, hey, you might not still live in Lafayette, but we're getting out there, we're coming out to meet you guys, and it's going to be a great opportunity, I think, for all those folks.
It's critically important and very exciting to me, particularly when, you know, we know we can get to Atlanta pretty easy from Lafayette, Louisiana, and so you will see us spending more time up there, being more intentional about that, as well as the city of Houston, the city of New Orleans. But we know that Atlanta is a hotbed for us from an alumni standpoint, and we've got a lot of quality individuals up there that we need to get engaged.
Nearly 2,000 living alumni right here in the Atlanta area. So we're excited to embrace them and get out here and engage with our fans and our alumni base and continue to spread that Ragin Cajun spirit as we continue to push our brand locally, regionally, and nationally. What a wonderful day here. Coach Billy Napier is here, Brian Maggard is here, many of our university leadership, particularly John Bloom, our Vice President of Advancement, and we're really lucky to be a part of this special day where we're boiling over 500 pounds of crawfish. We're really excited to dive into that here in a little bit. So thanks for all you do, Cajun Nation, and continue to come out and support our Ragin Cajun football team and all of our student athletes. And we're looking forward to seeing you folks here in Atlanta again soon.
It's really important that we go across enterprise and bring the information about the university into one spot. So we talk about admissions, we talk about growth in the university, we talk about our athletic programs and our coaches and others who come in to really kind of pump up our Cajun spirit and talk about the pride of our sports, you know, always on hand too to be a part of this. So we're very fortunate that we have that collaborative Cajun spirit that brings all kinds of people together who take their time to fly in here from Lafayette to be a part of it. Share that Ragin Cajun spirit, and then look at how we can grow our culture here by furthering admissions for future Ragin Cajuns, for our kids and extended family and friends as well. So we are happy to do this every year, and as we always say, go Cajuns.
Next on Inside Louisiana Baseball, we look at the week ahead with head coach Tony Robichaux.
To perform, you need speed, skill, strength. With every muscle, every move, you push your body to reach its full potential. But sometimes you just can't push through the pain. That's when you know it's time to address it. So when injury puts you on the sidelines, trust us to get you back in the game. Lord Sports Care, the team behind your team.
Welcome back to Inside Louisiana Baseball, joined once again by head coach Tony Robichaux. So no midweek games. What's the schedule for the rest of the week as you get ready to hit the road?
Well, hopefully, one thing that I think is going to help us, we'll see in time, is that Tuesday and Wednesday we don't have a game this week. That's the first time since we've started the season. So we can try to take some of these young arms on Tuesday and Wednesday and do some things that we'd like to have done earlier. That was hard to do because you have to leave all these guys on call when you play on Tuesday or Wednesday. If you do some stuff with them as pitchers, hitters can hit every day and then not be sore for a game. A pitcher can't do that. And so when you throw him or work him, he needs 2 to 3 days rest off of that work. And you can't do that when you have midweek games, especially with our arms, because you just never know the consistency of them. And so we've never been able to do much. This week we'll be able to do some drills and do some things that we normally do, live ABs, put them in some pressure situations, just do some things that I like doing with young arms that we really hadn't had a chance to do, so that hopefully this weekend, using in these arms, hopefully we can grow a little bit more from the Tuesday and Wednesday work that we do with them.
So you head to Coastal Carolina this weekend. The Chanticleers are 11-9 in Sun Belt Conference play. You guys and Coastal Carolina both picked to win your divisions in the Sun Belt Conference in the preseason. Needless to say, neither team has probably, envisioned the season going the way it has. So imagine a couple of hungry teams will be on the field this week.
Well, again, all that voting stuff, that's on paper. So none of that ever, we don't look at any of that. But at the end of the day, we've got to pitch because they're a very good hitting team. They're a very good hitting team in that ballpark. It's conducive for hitting. One good thing is we've hit good on the road. Our numbers are good. Our slug, our home runs are good. So I feel good about the hitters. I think our biggest challenge is we got to hold them down. And again, it's a real simple premise. You've got to just pitch away from the 3-run inning. If you do that, you have a chance to win a game. Yeah, you mentioned how well they're hitting. They lead the conference in hits, doubles, triples, home runs, second in walks. So, yeah, good hitting ball club. No eye-popping numbers from them on the hill, but when you're hitting 300 as a team, solid is good enough. Well, you get to hide behind run production. The difference in us is we've been scoring 7, 8, 9 runs a game. The problem is we don't score early in games, and we don't get out ahead early. So we're always doing that, playing catch up. That's the difference. And so again, we've been chasing the same thing that I've chased all 30 years of our career in pitching, is to stay away from the 3-run innings. If you just look at the teams that have been good here, if you look at our ERA, over the last 12, 13 years, we've either been first in the league or second in the league, and that's why we've been so consistent. And now we're 7th or 8th in the league. Well, that's not going to be good enough, and so we're going to have to pitch. That's just the bottom line for us to have a chance. I'm not worried about our hitters. They do give up some runs in there. I feel good about that. Our defense has been really good at the top of the league defensively, but they can't defend the walk. That's one thing a defense can't do. They can't defend the walk of the hit batter, and so we're going to have to go down there and pitch. All right, thanks a lot for the coach, as always, for the time. Coming up next on Inside Louisiana Baseball, we have a detailed look at the upcoming schedule.
Look at me in the eye. They bleed just like you bleed. There is no apprehension. There is no fear. Bottom line, they got to come to us to get this done. All right, we decide what happens. We dictate what happens on that field today. Together on 3. 1, 2, 3, together.